Two events define the mood of the 1976 bicentennial. Saigon fell in April 1975, ending the Vietnam War in American military defeat, and President Nixon resigned in August 1974, ending Watergate in American democratic survival. The bicentennial happened at the intersection of failure and resilience. A country that had proven its institutions could survive a criminal president, but had lost confidence in its global role. That intersection is the most historically instructive comparison available to the mood of America's 250th birthday in 2026. On July 4, 2026, the United States turned 250 years old. The semi-quincentennial was the largest national anniversary in American history. Fireworks displays in every major city, a tall ship parade in New York Harbor, a ceremonial rereading of the Declaration of Independence on the steps of Independence Hall in Philadelphia. All of this occurred in a country with approximately 15% congressional approval, the highest measured political polarization since the Civil War era, and an active cultural dispute over whose founding story is being celebrated. The birthday party and the political crisis are not separate stories. They are the same story, seen from two different angles. The 1976 bicentennial was organized under President Gerald Ford, the only man ever to serve as both vice president and president without being elected to either office, who had assumed the presidency on the day he pardoned the predecessor, who had appointed him, in a move that cost him the 1976 election. Ford presided over the bicentennial from the specific position of an appointed president governing a country that had just watched its elected president resign in disgrace. The specific institutional awkwardness of the bicentennial's political context was not hidden. It was present in every ceremony, every speech, and every attempt to reaffirm the founding principles that the immediately preceding administration had violated. The bicentennial's specific cultural output is the most instructive dimension of the anniversary for the 2026 comparison. Rather than producing a triumphant celebration of American exceptionalism, the 1976 anniversary produced some of the most critically honest American cultural and historical work of the 20th century. Alex Haley's Roots, Tracing African American Heritage Through Slavery, was published in 1976 and became the most read nonfiction work in American publishing history. The American Freedom Train toured the country, showing both American achievements and American failures. The specific cultural mood, a country that had been forced by Watergate and Vietnam to look honestly at itself, and that used its birthday to continue that examination rather than retreat from it. The specific historiographical battle that defines the 2026 semi-quincentennial, and that has no equivalent in the 1976 bicentennial, is the formal organized, politically charged dispute between two competing frameworks for understanding the American founding. The 1776 Commission, established by executive order in 2020, argued that American founding principles represent a timeless universal achievement whose primary story is liberty and self-governance. The 1619 Project, launched by the New York Times in 2019, argued that American history's foundational event is the arrival of enslaved Africans in Virginia, and that the founding's primary story cannot be honestly told without placing slavery at its center. Both frameworks claim to be the correct reading of American history. Both have serious scholarly defenders. Both have been adopted as political weapons. The honest historical answer to the founding story dispute is that both frameworks are correct about specific documented facts, and that neither is the complete picture. The Declaration's assertion that all men are created equal was a genuine and radical philosophical claim for its era, one that enslaved people themselves immediately recognized and invoked to argue for their own freedom. As documented in petitions to the Continental Congress within months of the Declaration's signing. The founding's simultaneous establishment of slavery's constitutional protections, the Three-Fifths Compromise, the Fugitive Slave Clause, the 20-year protection of the slave trade, is equally documented and equally foundational. A country that is honest about its birthday holds both simultaneously. The inability to hold both simultaneously is the specific American 2026 political condition this episode is about.